Good morning. I'm Susan Wood. I'm the CEO of VIDA, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about the global crisis that we have in the lung and lung disease and the unmet need to get new therapeutics to market with greater efficiency and with greater quality. And the infusion of information and analytics from VIDA and technology to make this happen. So we are living in a global crisis for lung disease, and that global crisis existed before COVID, but COVID brought this global crisis to the fore. So patients with lung disease, underlying lung disease that got COVID had much poorer outcomes. But the global incidence, prevalence, mortality, and economic burden from lung disease was evidenced way before COVID. Added to that is now this onslaught of new COVID cases, of COVID cases, and these cases have patients with existing lung disease or are much more vulnerable to lung disease in their futures. So this presents both an opportunity and a challenge for the biopharmaceutical companies to get these new therapeutics, targeted therapeutics to market in a faster, more efficient, and higher quality way. Now, one of the challenges of the lung is that in comparison to these other clinical categories, it has been underfunded. It's been underfunded in R&D, it's been underfunded, or less funded in the venture and venture capital. And this underfunding now has consequences. So you can see the greater outcomes, better outcomes with these other disease classes, not so much when it comes to lung disease. The mortality rate is still on the rise. One of the disincentives to investing in the lung is that these lung trials, to get a new therapeutic to market, they're slow and they're very costly, and that disincentivizes investment. And particular to the lung that makes these clinical trials much more arduous are that there's greater subjectivity, inefficiency, and imprecision. All these things block the progress, and I categorize them into three broad buckets. Poor subject recruitment and management, poor site management, and specific to the lung, poor data quality, data management, and precision endpoints by which we can evaluate these therapeutics to get them to market. So VIDA's intelligence solution unblocks these barriers. VIDA presents within a cloud-based VIDA intelligence portal rich resources that are available to both sponsor and to the site that enable these sites to be performed more efficiently and with higher quality. We have a large database of disease-specific evidence that's been mined for patients and populations with lung disease over many time points, and it is highly curated. We have clinically validated many 50 biomarkers that are very precision metrics by which we can automatically measure the regression of lung disease and their response to a therapeutic. We input this information into our AI algorithms, and they specifically attack these problems of better patient subject matching, but more efficient site management, and quantitative and precision endpoints by which these therapies can be evaluated. So specifically and very quickly, our VIDA Intelligence Portal on a site can prospectively or retrospectively through an existing database screen subjects for a trial, knowing the inclusion-exclusion criteria of that trial, and can better match and more efficiently match subjects to trials. Similarly, that VIDA Intelligence Portal sitting on site that is running a clinical trial, we have the ability to automatically monitor those sites for performance, and we can reduce the inefficiencies and the variability in that trial that lead to these advanced timelines. We certify these sites to be able to perform imaging trials, and then in that certification, we've established over 1,000 sites worldwide that we can now reuse more easily and onboard those for the next generation of clinical trials. As I mentioned, we have a biomarker library that's clinically validated with over 50 biomarkers. Again, they measure the existence, the progression or regression of lung disease, and their comorbidities, and the response to a therapeutic at a precision level, so we can measure structural and functional change at a very precise level and much earlier than the process of using for traditional endpoints now in clinical trials. So why does this matter to biopharma? Because sponsors need faster, less costly, higher quality respiratory trials. And VIDA's intelligence solution enables more efficient trials and a faster time to market. Precision measures equate to fewer subjects and stronger data. Optimized operations equate to shorter trial times and reduced costs. And that equals real value to the biopharmaceutical sponsor. So VIDA accelerates drug development pipelines and therefore is able to get these therapeutics to the patients and populations in need. We have more, our intelligence solution can develop more and more targeted therapies with faster timelines and lower cost, enabling these solutions to get to market and increase the profit margins of the biopharmaceutical sponsors. And it enhances our addressable market. We have now a discovery, the trial development, to a recovery solution that it can attack the development of that therapy, as well as matching the patient to that therapy once that drug goes to market. Now, we've had significant traction. We have over 1,500 sites that we've contracted globally. We have growth revenue, bookings and backlog, a SaaS business model. We have very, very strong partnerships and growth partnerships. We have validated our solution in over 70 clinical trials, and we have regulatory approvals in 4 geographies, and the 5th is pending. Just to go and a little bit further into these growth financials, we have growth in our sites, our recurring revenue, our bookings, and our pipeline year over year, 2020 to 2021, and we have forecast to continue that growth in 2022 and beyond. So, on behalf of my team, I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to talking to you further about VIDA.